Hi, this is Charlene Burke with Grow Because You Know. That's www.growbecauseyouknow.com. Welcome to Morning Mindset Cafe, where today we're discussing Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. More specifically, we are now on Chapter 7. And the gist of the chapter is that the plan determines the outcome. The actual title of the chapter is, Organized Planning, the crystallization of desire into action. Love that. It's also referred to as the 6th step toward riches. So what we've reviewed to this point is that if you're going to create or acquire something, and in this case money, it begins in the form of desire. And when you have the desire and you have it clear and you've written it down and you know exactly what it is that you want, now you can deploy the workshop of the mind, the imagination, to start formulating, creating, and organizing a plan. Asking yourself, well, what if I do this? What is possible? Who can I go to for this information? Working backwards, right? Have the end goal in mind. How are we going to get there? What does that look like? So we were told about 6 definite practical steps in that first move of translating the desire for money into its monetary equivalent. So it goes from just a feeling, supporting an idea of what we want, and we're very clear that this is what we want, goes from that into physically obtaining the money. And one of those steps, okay, is the formation of a definite practical plan or plans so that this transformation can take place. All right, practical steps to take. So you can ally yourself with a group of as many people as you need. Doesn't matter if it's 1 or 100. Ally yourself with a group of as many people as you need to carry out your plan or to help create your plan for the accumulation of money. At this point, keep in mind that you can make use and should make use of the mastermind principle, and we'll go deeper into that in upcoming days. But the book, Napoleon Hill, and those before him whom he interviewed and studied say that this is absolutely essential to your success in obtaining your definite chief aim, your primary purpose, your whole reason for putting all this effort into getting this money. It is essential. You can't neglect this part. What part? What part is that? Is finding yourself a group of as many people as you need to help you create and carry out your plan. Now, before forming your mastermind alliance or that inner circle of people or that team that is going to help you create and put this plan into action, decide what advantages and benefits you offer to each person of your group in return for their cooperation. This is really important for us to understand that we're not going to get something for nothing. Asking favors of people or asking for their expertise and knowledge without giving anything in return will drain them pretty quickly. In my own experience of watching it happen and having it happen to me, the first time, the first time that I felt used, so won't happen again. But if the person that I'm asking for help and I'm clear about what I'm going to give in return for it, be it money or my own expertise, and those who come to me who are clear on what they're going to give in exchange for that, it's amazing how well things work out. In that, we're both getting what we need while being able to give something in return. All right, So now you've allied yourself with a group of people that can help you create this plan and put it into action. Before you did that, you've already decided what advantages and benefits you can offer to each member of the group that you're bringing in to help you. Now, arrange to meet with them at least twice a week, more often if possible. This is how serious you must be in getting your goal. So meet with them twice a week or more often if possible until you've jointly perfected the plan or plans for the accumulation of money. Now, this is important. Maintain perfect harmony between yourself and every member of this group that you have formed. If you fail to carry out this instruction to the letter, you may expect to meet failure. The mastermind principle cannot work where perfect harmony does not prevail. All right, so keeping that in mind, we're going to keep in mind these facts. First, you're engaged in an undertaking of major importance to you. To be sure of success, you must have plans that are faultless. And second, you must have the advantage of the experience, education, native ability, and imagination of other minds. This is in harmony with the methods followed by every person who has accumulated a great fortune. Now, a little further on, we're reminded that if the first plan we adopt doesn't work, replace it with a new plan. If this new plan fails to work, replace it. If that new plan fails to work, replace it, and so on until we find a plan that actually does work. Right here is the point at which the majority of people meet with failure because their lack of persistence in creating new plans to take the place of those that fail. So when we're covering a couple of things here, right? We have to have a good plan in order to have a good outcome, right? It's the plan that is going to get us to our end goal. So we have to be extremely clear, so clear that it's ridiculously simple, right? This is what I'm reaching for. This is what I want. These are the people that I want in my group to help me to reach this goal. In exchange for their help, I am willing to offer each of them something of equal value. Now, it's not noted in here that you would pay them, but in some cases, I'm sure that would be the case. Sometimes you have to pay for the expertise that you need, that specialized knowledge. Do you expect payment for your specialized knowledge? Same thing applies to other people. Unless what you offer in return is of equal value to them and incentive enough for them to be a part of your group. So as a group, you're creating a plan, meeting regularly and often. This isn't a once a month, twice a month thing. This is 2, 3, 4 times a week. These are people that are dedicated to the outcome, okay, because of what they're going to get in return. Why would you be a part of somebody else's group to help them succeed if you didn't have benefit to yourself in being there? Okay, so we think like they do, think like your members do, your alliance does. And now outline the plan and start putting it to work and test it. And if it doesn't work, you know pretty quickly it doesn't work. Gather them around. It didn't work. Let's do something different. Let's create another plan and be persistent in reaching your goal. Okay, so Cindy, I realize that people help you fine-tune the original plan. What's the difference between changing the plan and giving up too soon? That description sounds like giving up on the plan you have instead of pursuing it long enough to get your plan. Oh, there's a big difference. We're just replacing it with another plan. We have measurements in place. When you create a plan, it isn't just a plan of action steps. It includes, how do we know this is going to work? right, along the way. I mean, we know it works when you hit the end goal because bam, oh, great, we've got the cash flow coming in and it looks like we're going to make revenue and I'm going to hit my financial goal in so much time. By the time I've set, we're on track. But along the way, whatever activity is determined, right, as part of the plan in order to attain that financial goal, you have to know ahead of time what it is you're going to determine. It's how you're going to determine its success. For instance, part of my plan for my business is paid advertising. That's a part of the plan. So that part, we put it in place, and just that part has its own little goals there, right? How am I going to determine if it was successful? What's the outcome that I want? These are the details. This is the money I'm putting out. This is how much money I should expect in return. And if I receive this amount, it was a success. I do that. I was shy. It's almost worked. Almost worked. I was shy by, we'll say, 3 points. Well, I abandoned that specific project as it sits and replace it with another one, making changes to that plan. Now it's a new project within the big plan because it didn't work. But that's okay because it worked well enough that I knew I was on the right track. This is a proper tactic for what I'm doing. Made some minor changes. Actually, my ads manager made some minor changes, put forth a new campaign, and we exceeded revenue goal. That will continue on a regular basis as part of the overall plan. I hope that answered your question, because you have to know if your activity is successful, right? So if I have my daily tasks for the day and I don't know what success looks like by having achieved those or done them, what's the marker for success? Is the plan working? Well, we have the overall, right? You have, like anything else, you have the big plan and then you have to chunk it down. And when you don't know, that's when you have your team members that are able to tell you that that wasn't a success. It may have looked good to you because you don't know any better, but that's the value of having experts or knowledgeable people as part of your alliance, right? They're the ones that are going to say, that wasn't as successful as you think it was. I've done that with my clients where they'll have put forth an ad campaign and they have absolutely no sales from it, which was the ultimate goal on sales. They'll have no sales, but they'll have an increase in social media followers. And they're all excited because they have an increase in social media followers. Left to their own devices, they would continue to throw money at something that's really not working to get them to their end goal. With me, as a knowledgeable person as part of their team, I can look at that and say, that's great that you have additional followers, and that'll be useful in the future. But in actuality, this was not a successful campaign because the goals weren't met, and it wasn't a success. So we need to change it. Oh, so then we have Catherine. My son is trying to get his schoolwork done. At the end of each week, we sit down and see how far he has come. And if he is not where he wants to be, then we adjust what we're doing and try another week. The end goal doesn't change, but the steps to get there are adjusted. Perfectly said. Yes. And Matt, yes. Giving up would be not having a plan or changing entirely. Giving up would be not having a plan. Giving up would also be to say that the end goal, we're going to change the end goal. That's giving up. That's not putting forth the persistence and not putting forth the steps that have just been outlined on how to get that end goal. Ken, missed you. Friendly face in the crowd. It has been a while. I hope all is well with you. Welcome. And Studio, don't know what your name is, would prefer to call you by your name, but Studio, welcome to the program this morning. Is that Lisa that we have with us today? Ah, Sophia, my friend Sophia, so good to see you. Hey, Sophia, you're in the UK. Do you know Ken? Surely you do. It's such a small place. Sorry. Hi, Fred. Welcome. Yeah, complaining is not a strategy. That's it. Go to work. Great program. Thanks. Thanks, Fred. Okay, so that does make sense to you. Good, Cindy. It's not changing the goal itself. It is just the steps to get there. The plan can and should be flexible. When you note that something's not working, then change the something. Because when something isn't working, it is affecting your ability to reach that end goal. And that end goal is so important to you that you know what should be working. If it's that plan isn't keeping you on track, then take off. You know, I've said on here that because I'm so clear about where I want to end up, it makes it very easy for me to say no to opportunities, even when they're big. And I said no to an opportunity a couple of weeks ago. And I think I expressed to you, it was pretty big. It was pretty big. And I knew the potential there. It involved a new product launch. I understand the value of something new in terms of the marketplace. I knew the value of what it was, but I also knew that it would require a monetary investment I wasn't prepared to invest, that the steps that I'm already taking towards the success of my current business and where I'm headed, my ultimate goal, would not be in line with selling this other product. It would require an investment of time, money, and energies in a different direction, starting from scratch, and divert my attention from the existing activity, which means my original plan isn't going to work. That which is in place that's currently working would stop working because my attention would go elsewhere. A couple weeks have gone by. I've stayed in touch with others who are participating in that launch. They're making money left and right. And yet I'm quite confident that I made the right decision for myself. I'm happy for them. I think it's fantastic. It aligns with their goals. They're not as far in their business as I am. You know, some have only been in business for a little bit less than a year. I'm hitting 8 years, and I have these steps in place, and what I've been doing lately, in this past year especially, that's working. And for me to stop would put me in their position, which is at the beginning. So I'm really happy for them. I think it's great, and they get all the support in the world for me. I'm their little cheerleader in the background. But again, I had made the decision earlier that this criteria must be met before I make the investment of time, money, and energies and put something into my existing activities and my plan to get to my ultimate goal. So that's another way that we can go awry with our plan. Also, I did a quick review of it with somebody else, a trusted advisor, if you will, just to make sure that I was seeing it correctly, and I was. And that confirmed that I need to stay on the path that I'm on. Now, it could have been that I went to the advisor and they said something different. And because I trust them, we would have looked at it more closely. And if they could have shown me by their expertise and knowledge that this really was something I needed to add to my service offerings, then give me the proof. And I would have said, okay, now I understand why it works. And what's it going to take to make sure that it works, that it's in line? It cannot detract from what I'm doing now. Yes, Ken, our project manager. So glad to have you with us. Good plans have reviews built into them for adjustments or audits by independent people. Reviews are often part of milestones incorporated within a plan. Exactly. And that prevents plan changes being arbitrary or due to lack of resolve. I like that, lack of resolve. Or in our case, when we're talking Napoleon Hill's language, persistence. Yeah, that was beautifully stated. Thank you. So between me and Ken and Catherine and Cindy, Now, my hope is that you see the value of doing the plan right. It's interesting because as I read to you the must-haves, I realized that one of the teams that I belonged to, we came close. We meet regularly, and we got off track in our own path. We got off track, but we adjusted. We adjusted. So our product is going to launch next week, right, Christian? That's the deadline I put on them. We have a product launch happening. And I think we've done well overall with the way Napoleon Hill has laid this out. We got off track for a while. We were able to get back on track by studying the principles again, right? It's not even a back to basics. It is, hey, wait a second. We're off center here. Let's stay focused. Let's keep our attention where it needs to be. And so we studied individually. And then during product creation, we kept ourselves on track. So finally we have something, a minimum viable product anyway. We have something that we feel very good about that we can launch. And looking back, it's interesting. This goes to anybody's question of, well, how do you know when to change, when not to, and what have you? So looking back, now that we've had the experience of working as a team, we will be able to, and we'll have a debrief where we can determine the areas that were gaps, where we didn't have a leader that was being followed, so we had to replace the leader. Not a problem. We replaced the leader. The desire to have it done started waning a bit, so we were allowed ourselves to be distracted by a few things. And being able to recognize that is pretty darn awesome, I got to tell you, especially in line with the discussion here about success principles and what really works and what have you. So the seat's open. Somebody's welcome to jump in if you want to talk about this. Comments to the side are greatly appreciated. Would love to hear what you have to think and have to say about this. Do you ever find it difficult to stay with your plan? Those who have shiny object syndrome understand that one, don't you? Every single day. So what happens? What happens when you try to do it by yourself? Learn to love the change. Yeah. I tried doing a lot of things by myself in terms of running my business, and I soon learned the great value in having that alliance, be it a formal mastermind group or a couple of advisors that I could go to just to check my thinking. Exhaustion be the change. Oh, Matt, you went into woo land. Woo land. Be the change. Embrace the change. There might come a day when I'm able to do that. So many times I just fight it and then I give up and finally say, okay, now I'll go with it now. Yes, I know resistance is futile, but I still do it. Or how about this? You're so committed to your plan that you're not listening to your experts or your knowledge base, the people that you've relied on to help you get to this point. Does that bode well for the success of the plan or for the outcome of the tactic we're putting into place? Yes, correct. Catherine is saying we're not designed to be alone in this world. I agree. There's 7 billion other people. If I were meant to be alone, there wouldn't be that many of you out there. We are designed for relationships. Together, we're stronger and bolder than we are ever on our own. Holy mackerel. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Yes. Wholeheartedly. Find the people that can support you if you don't have them now. They're out there. I went looking for them, and I've slowly been adding to my inner circle. Those that give me the support, the encouragement, the mental acuity that I need at times. Absolutely. The importance of planning. Quitter never wins, and a winner never quits. Even Napoleon Hill is saying, take that sentence, write it down on a piece of paper, an inch high. Place it where you'll see it every night before you go to sleep and every morning before you go to work. This is interesting. He's saying when you begin to select members for your mastermind group, the mastermind or the alliance that you're creating, try to select those who don't take defeat seriously. Here's a good statement. Some people foolishly believe that only money can make money. That's not true. Desire, through the principles laid down here, transmuted into its monetary equivalent, is the agency through which money is made. Money of itself is nothing but an inert matter. It can't move, think, or talk, but it can hear when someone who desires it calls it to come. This is interesting. Even my husband is a big one for saying, well, you got to have money to make money. Use other people's money. You don't physically have to have it in your own account. It does not physically have to be in your possession in order for you to obtain it. Other people's money is available to you. But that's what happens when that type of thinking is what happens when we're stuck in our own head, when we don't have trusted advisors around us, when we don't have people who can point out to us that, oh, you think 15 grand is what will get you through the next 3 months in terms of an advertising marketing budget. And you don't have it right now in your account. So where can we get it? I can't tell you, but somebody in my circle can. They can get real creative when it comes to finding money. It's amazing because they know so much more than I do when it comes to things like that. Stuck in my own head, I can tell you right now, the first thing that comes to my mind is, well, you just need to sell more stuff. And while that is true, that would be a means to an end, there are others in my circle that have a little more creative ways to take care of the need for immediate cash. I'm not the one to rely on my own head when it comes to that. Now, what's interesting is that the remainder of the chapter is all about ways and means of marketing personal services. Intelligent planning is essential for success in any undertaking designed to accumulate riches. Did you catch that? Intelligent planning. So this goes beyond the napkin, right? That's the idea stage. This goes beyond the quick notes, right? Written like this, or, this mess. That's ideas. Now let's put it into an intelligent plan format. When gathered, which chapter 7 is what we're on now. And on the PDF, actually, I'm on page 93. You have notes, lots of notes. I do too. But can those notes be then turned into a plan of action? Because that's what's going to determine the outcome. That's what's going to determine whether or not we achieve success. That's going to determine whether or not my bank account gets more zeros behind the numbers in there. Yeah. Plan the work, work the plan, takes action to arrive. That's it. That's it. The biggest nugget out of all of this for me right now, the biggest takeaway is to be clear and definite on the outcome so that those that I bring in to help me make the plan understand what we're working towards. I'm going to go cough. And to meet them regularly. And I can tell you that when I look at that, the musts there, one team meeting regularly, and then there's another one not so good. So I'm already making note that a new project that I will be starting with somebody else, we are going to be a little more diligent because I finished another project and it was okay, could have been better. And I think that was part of the problem, was we didn't meet regularly enough. So that's what I've got this morning. What have you got? I would love to know your thoughts. What does planning mean to you? What does harmony mean to you? Your achievement can be no greater than your thoughts. What are you thinking? How do you plan? What tools do you use to make a plan? Doesn't have to be for the big one, right? Doesn't have to be for that end goal, but for the little guys. For the little projects are small compared to the big goal, right? For the actions that you're taking in order to reach your plan. What little plans do you have? What tools do you use? I look at what has to be done in the day. I look at what I can invest in my journey, and I plan accordingly. Okay. One of the things that I do is almost like a funnel where I've got the overarching for the week, the month. This is all the stuff that needs to be done. And then I can break it down into what needs to be done each week, what needs to be done each day in order to attain. And I am going to share with you, I'm going to double check this link. What I'm going to be getting myself, because someone introduced this to me and I can't use online tools. Plannerpads.com. And when I saw it, it's like, oh, wait a minute, that's what I do in a rough outline. And I'm using like 3 and 4 different spaces before getting it onto my Google Calendar. And I looked at this and said, wow, happy day. And I'd been looking for something, like a goal planner or something for my mastermind groups, for them, just as a recommendation. You know, if somebody wants one to help them to stay on track. And there's some really cool things out there, really awesome things. But nothing that was quite, And what I mean by that is in my mastermind groups that I facilitate, we start out with the big goal for that. In one of them, it's for 90 days. And the other, it is whatever if it's 1 year, 6 years, 10 years, whatever it may be. And we help to break things down so that we have activity and review and what's working and what's not working, and to help each other to stay on track and all that stuff. So while I was looking at these wonderful, almost airy-fairy, complicated ways of keeping track of what you're doing every day, I was like, I could recommend a couple of them because they included life as well as work. And I have action lists and action sheets for one of my groups, and that's fine. And then I saw planner pads. So I'll be making the investment this week. I'm getting myself a planner pad. And Catherine is saying she created a schedule that breaks each hour into segments of 10 to 20 pieces and a to-do list broken up by your world domination plan. Fill out my to-do list by the number of segments I have in that day. It keeps things bite-sized and neat and flexible. I totally get that. I have a friend of mine who starts out big, and what she has is, yeah, I figured 10 and 20-minute pieces or segments. So what she will do is she will write the overarching, very much like as Planner Pads does the overarching, and then she'll randomly be putting in what those details look like and what needs to be done for that month or for this project. Okay, because she has multiple projects going on. And then she breaks it down into weekly, daily, and the way she has it done is she has a binder that has that project tabulated of incremental review points, right? Which is great. But then she has a fold out of what that week looks like. And then she has little green tops for the breakdown of the daily tasks. So what she does is she goes to the binder, she looks for today, she pulls out the green tab. It's like a Post-it, little large, index card size Post-it. And that's what she carries with her through the day. So she knows exactly what needs to be done for that day, who needs to be called, who needs to be updated, tasks and all that. I am going to get her with a VA. I'm trying. I've been working on it for months because that's what a VA can do for you, is to help you to be that organized. But she's doing all that detail work herself, and that's how she works. And she kind of fell in love with the Planner Pads too. And I agree with Catherine, who's saying the key is finding a system of planning and scheduling that works for you. Because if it doesn't work for me, it's not going to work at all. And you're right. That's why I was hesitant to really focus on any one or two journals or goal setting assistant pieces or whatever for my mastermind group. I was hesitant about that because some people love to work solely online. I can't. I got to handwrite it. I have to. I just have to. It's not real if I just put it up on my calendar to me, So I write it down first and then I put it into my Google Calendar. Other people love to draw and they're very visual. I've noticed that some will use images in place of text. That doesn't work for me. So anyway, now, should anybody decide that they would like to show their appreciation for, just because, not even appreciation, just because you like me and want to gift me with the Planner Pad, I'll be happy to take it. Just so you know. Catherine says, I have a friend that uses the bullet journals. Not familiar with the bullet journal. But yeah, if all you're doing is spending all your time trying to complete every line of the tool you're using, it takes you away from putting into action. Yeah, absolutely. Then time to, and I've tried a variety of tools and systems, and I'm attracted to the Planner Pad because of the way I just outlined. That's the way I think. And that's really the way it looks on my legal pad when I'm first drawing things or writing things out. And when I'm collaborating or talking with those who are part of my alliance, when I'm double checking points or what have you, I pull my folder. I mean, I work from, project folders, literal project folders. And I look in here and see, where am I? Well, it all started out here. You want to see an original? All right, so there's an original. That's what it starts out at, and then it gets all nicely organized and put into the calendar. So I have a feeling what will happen is I'm going to continue that and then organize it at the top of the Planner Pad, and then that way I can chunk it down into the days of the week. So looking forward to it. Again, it's a tool, and I think it can be a very effective tool. Whatever tool works for you, please use it. Because unless you have a plan, you're not going to achieve what it is that you want. You just won't. You just, I mean, my big, it's interesting. I don't usually ask people, well, how are you going to get there? I don't ask it that way. I was talking with somebody who wanted to join a mastermind group, and he had this great idea. And I said, so what are you going to do about it? And he said, well, first I need to know what you think about it. And I said, why? What difference does it make what I think? Right? He said, well, he needed to know. And I said, it doesn't matter what I think. This is your idea. This is what you want to do. And he'd never heard that. He was waiting for me to be like all the other people that he told it to say that, well, it's dumb. There's no way you're going to be able to do it. Don't waste your time. It's been done and didn't work. And whatever. All the negatives, right? It's not up to me to determine whether it's a good plan or not. That's the value of a mastermind group. You're going to have people available to you in various backgrounds that can tell you and back up why it will work, because it will. Whatever idea you have will work. And he'd never heard that either. Scared him enough he didn't join the group. Which tells me he's just like many that I come across. That's a great idea. And what do I say? What are you going to do about it? That's what I always ask. What are you going to do? It's all well and good to be full of good ideas, but if you don't do anything about them, who cares? Everybody's full of ideas. Honestly. It's amazing how many ideas go through everybody's head. Woohoo. It's just, I do that to myself. I mean, I get these moments of brilliance and I say, what are you going to do about it? Nothing, because it will detract me from the plan I'm on. That's it. Yeah, that's a great idea. Move on. Oh, Catherine, people who say I have a great idea for a book, I always tell them to write it. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I've had people, or I've watched people in discussions ask questions like, I have these great ideas, I just need people to put them into place. Well, pick one and you'll be able to get people rallied around it and make it happen. The problem is they don't want to stick with just one. They just want to throw out an idea, let you run with it, and then they'll make a little money off of your efforts. Sorry. I haven't seen that one work. You have to believe in your plan first to find the people to support your plan. Absolutely. Yes. Well, you have to be definite about first off, you have to be definite about the end goal in order for you to believe that it can happen. You have to be definite about, and I mean definite. There's a clear dollar amount attached to it. That is what I'm working towards. Now, how am I going to get there and what am I going to do to get it? That's when I can start going to the other people, and get them on board. That's right, Cindy. Like yesterday, you need to have the imagination for it, but you don't need to create it yourself. Right. And you have to be able to see it in your heart before you can firmly believe it. Exactly. And that's where that desire comes from, right? How bad do you really want it? And then understanding to create that desire can come from use of your imagination, as well as looking deeper into all the reasons why you want it. Really be clear about what will happen when you achieve it. That was a big one for me. I'd never walked through that process. I gotten the dollar amount, but that was it. Now, actually visualizing and talking about what does that look like? If I have literally writing out, this exercise was interesting. I wrote a check for that amount with that many zeros behind it. So if I were to cash this right now, what exactly would I do with the money? And I was able to detail out exactly what I would do with the money. And then what does it look like a week later? If I have done all right all that. And now it's a week later and that's today. What does that look like? I was able to do that. When I was able to do that, it became very real and very possible. And I really wanted it. So now I'm willing to do what it takes in order to get it. But all of that's, those are the steps you take in order to get it. It can start off as, and I know many people that it starts off as the big idea. Oh, heck, who can we bring in here? Hillary Steele. Well, here's the idea. She didn't have a whole heck of a lot of plans in place for it. She just knew that that's what she wanted to get done. She also knew the value of getting people on board who could do the things, think the things, and find the things that she couldn't. And that's what she did. And so now she's gotten, let's see here. She has a salon. She has a successful magazine. She has a growing online publication for live streamers. She is out of that magazine. She has a regularly scheduled awards dinner for the people that are showcased in her magazine. And recently, she decided it was time for her to put together a cookbook about potatoes. The plan started coming once she became clear about what it was going to look like. What she wanted, then the plan started showing itself to her, and she's in the process of making it happen. Who is that? Hillary Steele. Hillary J. Steele. I could call her in here if you want. I think she's online right now. Hold on. Why don't we call Hillary in? See if we can. This is Blab, still in beta, right? Are you available to stop by? Let's see if she's out there. She's a neighbor of Ken and Sophia's. Yeah, she lives in the UK. All right, so and then we have Gail. Good to see you. Hello, Sharon. Nice to have you with us. So Ken is saying, putting together a plan can be a good test of whether you really want to achieve your outcome or goal. Oh my gosh, that's an excellent point, because it will tell you how much work is involved, won't it? What it will cost, what are the risks, who else needs to be involved? Exactly. Exactly. Now you can determine, can you really do it? Are you willing to do it? There's Hillary. Hi, Hillary. I was just talking about you and wanted you to know that. I was talking about positive things. The value. Oh, look, you and your potatoes. Love it. Love the new idea. So I was describing how you as a businesswoman, we're talking about the plan determines the outcome. Then you have to be definite about what you want your outcome to be, your final goal. That you had started your magazine with just simply an idea, but knew enough. You didn't have to know the details of how it was going to happen. You just knew enough that you wanted it to happen. And the plan started falling in place because you also understood the value, of which we're talking about now, bringing in other people to help you to get it done, to help you make the plan, right? To put things into place and to take action and to work together and have the team. And we're calling it a mastermind alliance, but a working team. And from that, you've been able to have a successful physical magazine, a successful regularly scheduled awards dinner associated with the people that are showcased and provided those awards from the magazine. That you also have a successful salon. Excuse me. You have an online publication focused towards live streaming, and as far as I know, it's still up and running and is targeted to be a success. And that you recently decided that it was time for you to create a cookbook about potatoes. Did I miss anything? Oh, yeah, and that you're a neighbor of Ken because you're in the UK, because of course you know each other, right? So that's the rundown of Hillary. And potatoes are appealing to me. I create a smashing stuff with the spud. Book out in November 2016. Worldofpotatoes.com. Love that. So it does sound good. All right, good. I know the potatoes have been building in the background for a year, but it was time to take action. So when that time came, you had the idea. Boom, it's time now. Plan came out. This is what needs to be done. Let's go, right? That's what I'm talking about. This could have been an idea for 30 or 40 years, for all I know, because you had referenced your mother's cookbook about potatoes. So that's actually neither here nor there, because without a plan, nothing was happening, right? And without it being concrete, now is the time to get moving on it. Nothing came of it. So once you had that happen, then the plan appeared, started making sense of what needed to be done. And as you say, you're now building the team around you. That's what I've been telling everybody. I'm glad I was right. I love it when I'm right. I'm marking it down on the calendar because it doesn't happen often enough for me. Oh, yeah. So I'm glad you're here, Hillary. Thank you so much. I thought you might be around. Hey, Charlene. Good to see you. Glad you're here. Ahmed, welcome. Glad you're here. So again, it's the value of the plan and the detail. And when you build the team around you, whether it's a physical action working team to create something, or it's your mastermind alliance, your little board of directors or advisors, right? When you have that happening and you're meeting regularly, action takes place. So you got the commitment, then the action, and then results start happening. But until all of that really gets going, it's still just an idea, isn't it? Yep. And ideas are a dime a dozen. I have them all the time. You know? So that's where I sit. Any other comments? Anybody want to jump on and say hi? I'm double checking. For those who want a copy of Think and Grow Rich, here is a PDF that's available to you. The drop-in link doesn't work, so I can't put it in the live stream. Those of you that might be interested in Success Mindset resources, these are free downloads available in exchange for your email. Every once in a while, you might hear from me because I've uploaded something new, or there's something interesting with regard to success mindset or principles that you might be interested in. And then just in case you want to show your support. So, any questions or comments? Karen, good to see you. Miss seeing you the past few days. Okay, so I will end the recording. I can keep the room open for a few minutes. I have a meeting at the half hour. So finish this out. Say thank you, everybody, for being here with me and discussing that the plan does determine the outcome. Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. Good to see you, those who are just watching and those in the discussion area. Thank you so much for your comments. Those watching the replay, thanks for hanging with me this long. I appreciate you. This is Charlene Burke with Grow Because You Know. That's www.growbecauseyouKnow.com. Let's move forward with the day on purpose with purpose to grow our hearts, grow our minds, and grow our businesses. Until next time, have a great day.